feature presentation.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
A woman can't make you lay down with her.
That's right.
You lay down because you want to lay down.
Amen.
You can do like Joseph.
That's right.
You can run. There ain't no shame in running. Run. Run. Well, Pastor Jenny, you know, I'm a man. Yeah, you're a man. But see, sometimes if you don't run, you're going to be a man with herpes. You're going to be a man with syphilis. You're going to be a man with gonorrhea. You're going to be a man with AIDS. You're going to be a man with HIV positive.
That's right.
So I want to put y'all on to Goddess Detox, right? This right here is called the Queen Steam, right? And this is vaginal steaming. Now this go all the way back to our ancestors. Our ancestors in Africa and the Caribbean been sitting their asses in this right here for a long time. That's why our pussy stay good, and that's why we got elasticity, and that's why our pussy just be wet. Now listen, bitch, you done been fucking all them fuck niggas and shit. It's time to cut them ties and sit in this motherfucking Queen Steam, right, babe?
Right.
So listen, you want some good ass pussy like me, you need to sit that ass in this. Hit up my girl, guys. These are big daughter got good pussy.
You got some excellent pussy.
For real?
That pussy wolf, you hear me?
Yeah.
Animalistic.
Animalistic, yeah. Y'all was the animalistic cat. Y'all need to sit your asses in here. That's all you got to do. Shit, sit back. Let that coochie sit. Shit, that motherfucker stink. Sit your coochie in this, right?
People do stuff for you because they genuinely care about you. But no, people do stuff for me because they want to fuck or they want their dick sucked or some shit like that. Like, if you're not going to do nothing genuinely for me, don't do nothing for me. If you fuck with me, it shouldn't matter if I'm in a relationship or not. It shouldn't matter nothing about none of that. You know, I'm trying to better myself, and I try to stop selling pussy and start doing DoorDash. But now, because I can't go spend time with this nigga, because I'm considering taking my ex back, he want to take the DoorDash account from me when I'm just supposed to pay you 20% out of the week for the DoorDash. I haven't even DoorDashed in 2 weeks because I've been busy with my family and I've been in Philly with me and Mercy. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, back to selling pussy I go. Like, it's just, I don't even know. Like, I don't understand you fucking niggas like that. I don't want nobody else doing shit for me, period. Nobody fucking else doing shit for me, because I swear to...
My ex accidentally sent me photos of him fucking a girl in a bathroom. Woo! I dated a guy who had rape allegations. Woo! I'm still talking to a guy who gave me chlamydia 3 times. Woo! I'm done with my ex. Wait, I'm still fucking him. Yeah! I fucked with a guy who killed somebody. Woo! My Mormon ex-boyfriend gave me chlamydia. Yay! I puked on an NHL player. Woo! On the way home from cheating on me, my ex got in a car accident. Woo! I'm banned from Trader Joe's. Woo! I spit on a mom because she pissed me off. Woo! My boyfriend, who was the same height as me, abused me. Yeah!
With the correct. And now for our feature presentation.
Welcome to the Thinking Man's Templar, the place where we say one red pill life far outweighs a billion blue pill lives, and where the soldiers can come in from the war, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, once again, I am at your service. And in today's conversation, we take a look into the harlot's abyss. When I mention the harlot's abyss, I think back to times when I was a man, a young man, ignorant to the ways of the world, thinking I knew everything. The nights I would spend with my friends, running around in the street trying to be somebody that she would notice. The things we would do, fighting, being drunk and belligerent, doing drugs, trying to be high and want to be seen high and seen drunk, to seem like I was a rebel without a cause. We parade around these women, parties, the mall, trying to put on our best bravado, our best tough looks, tough stances, try to make sure everything was just right. And these women, in their mindless gallivanting through life, would often choose us when we find ourselves taking missions and linking up with a young lady, just hoping, maybe you can get that special prize that she hides away in her secret box of dreams. And us young boys would always try to find ourselves in the situations that would please us. Now, regardless of how we ever felt about what we did or what was done, it was times when I saw my friends change once they got that prize. Once that girl let them into her chambers, I seen men lose themselves so deep in that abyss that they were never the same. Some men recovered over time, emotionally, mentally, even financially. But there was still an emptiness there, a brokenness, something unrepairable. And I would think about those days when those men would be likened to myself. And I would find myself trying to bring the best out of broken women. And a lot of you men have tried this, pursuing women who are unpursuable, satisfy the insatiable, put your heart on the butcher's table for a woman with a blade that would be nothing short of a Hattori Hanzo katana ninja samurai sword. And she would slice your heart into small pieces. And she would drag you through this abyss with a smile. Men would give up their fortunes, their peace, their dignity, integrity. I had friends who would, when they had a girlfriend, they were literally impossible to be around because of the way they tried to amplify themselves in front of their woman. They would talk extra rude or, always try to play the alpha dog. And you would find yourself at odds with your brothers. And I'm the type of guy, if I be around a man and he changes up his whole modus operandi because of his presence with a woman, I take a mental note of that. Because that is truly a weakness. And I always made sure that I never was that guy. men would always turn themselves into this uglier version of themselves just to appear more beautiful to a woman whose soul is hideous deep down. And all these men would sacrifice their friendships for these women who they can't even say mean anything to them 5 years later. Why do men sacrifice all they have? Their integrity, their friendships, their peace of mind, just to be put back in a place where the only thing you may have in remembrance of this woman is a child, some type of bad memory. So you men have to be clean like alkaline with your thinking. You have to understand that the world is always going to have its temptations. And for you to be a thinking man, a man who can take the world on as his own, be a citizen of the planet, not just your neighborhood. As I always say, a woman is nothing more than a representative of the district she resides. And when you become invested in that woman, you become invested in the district you reside. So if you live in the south side of Chicago, in a literal bloody war zone, and you get one of these young ladies in that hellscape pregnant, well, you, my friend, have just lowered your life expectation, because you will be forever trapped in a war zone with your woman. Because she never likes to escape the dysfunction. She loves to be the queen of rubbish, the queen of the landfill. Why do you think so many black women, or just urban women in general, why do you think they always love, no matter how terrible and dilapidated their neighborhood, they always find themselves pregnant with another man's child? Still in the projects, where the guns go off and the drugs are sold, where the ladies of the night stroll, looking for the next John, where the police are overly brutalizing and hateful, where the money's always short, the heat never works, the doors don't lock, the burglars are on the prowl, and the killers stroll the night, looking for a moment of disrespect to unleash their wrath on their brothers. Why are so many children being made in such terrible conditions? Because if you take her out of this landscape, she has no power. She has no power, no authority anywhere else. She's the queen of the dysfunction, that abyss, where black souls go to be lost forever in a black hole of misery, poverty, depression, and early death. She's the queen of that abyss. She flies and swims just like a man of war, jellyfish, or some type of iridescent creature that swims at the bottom of the ocean, that finds a home in the darkness, away from the light, miles away from the light, places where other people would never dwell, to depths so low. But yet she finds a home here. This is where she is queen. Her throne is the bodies that litter the graves of the young thugs and killers who parade around the neighborhood trying to please their maker. Her spawn. From the earth they come, to the earth they return. There's nothing more sadder than a man who's never left his neighborhood, with no intentions on evolving, only finding the same streets and districts, the same destroyed community as his home forever. And yet he tries to put on his false crown in bravado and violence, in false machismo, because of all the broken women he can access in that hellscape. We all know these men. We all see them daily on the news, under a white sheet, surrounded by yellow tape and flashing lights and screaming succubi, Valkyries, crying because one of her servants has fallen to his own sword. That abyss of twisted confusion that we call black life. How do we survive and thrive in such places? Where the faces are cold, the elderly are departed from us, the youth are being destroyed, love is non-existent, God is just an afterthought when one is on his deathbed or facing his maker. No spiritual strength, no togetherness, no camaraderie, no family, no brotherhood, no sisterhood, nothing. But existing with the cameras on the world facing you in mockery and laughter as they prop up the next street rapper to tell his story, the same story, just a different way with a different tune, about the home he's called his kingdom, beside his queen, as she twerks and do a busted challenge for Instagram, as he poses with his guns and his money to his ear. The harlot's abyss is a circular death trap, a conveyor belt of failure, a place where only broken souls go to thrive, and those with common sense run. They run and they never stop. I could have been one of those lost souls, those walking graves, those living, breathing coffins, deceased but yet walking like the undead, a day walker. There were women that would often take me on such a tumultuous ride that once it was over, it was almost like your soul was exhausted. It'd take you months to get back to your former self after dealing with one of these harlots for an extended amount of time. It always starts off in pleasure. It always starts off in pleasure. It always starts off with alcoholism and you bringing up old habits. There were times when I was dealing with women. Those were the times when I was drinking the most. I was always drunk. I always had a bottle. I always tried to be intoxicated just so I can be on her level. So think about this. The average thinking man has to find himself drugged up, high, drinking to get on the level of the harlot. It's almost impossible to be around these women sober. How else would you feel at home with being next to a whore in your bed? Trying to make the best of a bad situation, only destined to get worse. That abyss, never ending, deep and cavernous, like a hole drilled from the top of the planet to the bottom. It's no sense to me that any man would want to keep strolling and living in that abyss when he can free himself. What are you chasing? The harlot's abyss only applies to those men who can't see the real, the truth. That you're slumbering inside of a Venus flytrap, a widow's web, spun just for you. How could you not see the predatory nature of the beings that surround you, the beings that raised you taught you how to fail, taught you not to be competitive with the rest of the world. They lack understanding, and so do you. You grew up without any sensibility about the world, only that you would be lucky to make it to 18. This is the mentality of young black boys. That making it to 21 is a gift. While that white cornbread white boy is traveling the world in Europe at the same time, getting passport stamps, becoming cultured, while you're just happy to be breathing. What's the common denominator here? That young white boy probably doesn't have a Valkyrie for a mother, or harlot for a sister, a succubus for an aunt, and an elder witch for a grandmother, all plotting and scheming, hoping that just one maybe that this young one won't grow up to be an intellectual, that he'll be just as dumb and strong as the biggest black buck on the plantation 300 years ago, just so that they continue to put him to work until he conks out and dies like an ox or a horse that's been whipped too much. Let's just hope he's dumb and strong and he can run a 4-0. He could throw a football, hit a jump shot. He can rap some lyrics, just so that maybe, just maybe, we can latch onto him like barnacles on a broken seaboat. A ghost ship. Hanging on to your sails, maybe hoping that you can find the new land. And don't let it be one of your girlfriends. Or she'll ride that boat until it crashes, and it'll be by her hand. This abyss where a man's soul has no value, where he stands has no place. He doesn't represent anything. He's not a part of anything. He's just a ghost walking through his neighborhood, thinking that his flesh is live and beating, but really you don't exist on the stage of the world, because you dwell in an abyss created by harlots. A landscape created where you, when dwelling inside of it, do not exist in the paradigm of the world stage. Think about that. As long as you dwell in your broken, dilapidated neighborhood, you don't exist as far as the rest of the world is concerned with you. That's why it's imperative that you find every necessary tool in order to break out and break free from the chains on your mind. You have no choice. I don't judge a man who chooses another path, but at least I know I tried. At least I know I tried to play the invisible spirit guide to lead you men out of that abyss. Because outside of that abyss, when you reach the surface, there's sun, there's light, there's opportunity, a new day. Your goal is to make sure that your children don't know what the matriarchy is. They don't have a ghetto bone in their body. They don't know about street codes or street rappers or any of that thing. Black culture is no longer our culture. It's never been our culture. Our culture has been designed and tailored and stitched and sketched by your overseers and handed down to you, propagated to your young mind. And now you are replicating the design of your master. You're replicating the design of someone who wants to see you perish. Everyone's talking about it's for the culture, for the culture. You don't even have a culture. You are cultureless. Your culture is someone else's culture. A culture of degeneracy, murder, sex, drug abuse, uselessness, sexualization, hyper-sexualization. There's a plot to destroy the minds and hearts of black boys as long as they take those steps into that ooze, that abyss, waist deep, chest deep, neck deep, eye level, until gone. That abyss is your birthright. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel the walls closing in on you when you take a minute to sit silently in your own mind, within the cages of your own thoughts, and you look around and you think, how did I get here? There was programming set in place long before you were even conceived, generations before. And now it is your duty to be the generational breaker, the code breaker, the one that sees the binary and destroys the code so it will not take anyone else from your lineage. The beauty of life is knowing that your children will grow up and not know anything about this destructive culture, this abyss, this harlot's kiss that we call our homes, our culture, our existence. You have to call a spade and see it as it is. It is what it is. It's not your job to redefine something that's broken. It's your job to escape that paradigm altogether. That dichotomy is useless to us now. They're about to roll out the big guns. You men don't have much time. And I know you can feel it. I want you to look around yourself. Look at your home. Look at your material possessions. Look at the things you've accumulated while in the abyss. And I want you to think how valuable these things are. Could you walk out on it if you had to? If you knew they weren't issuing any more passports after a certain time, would you be able to quickly dissolve and liquidate your life to the point that you can live out of a bag and go to another country and be free? If they told you you had to take a vaccination by the end of March, June, would you have the tools and the finances necessary to make an escape plan? Are you willing to look at your countless sneakers and shoes and clothes and everything that you own, your vehicles, and leave that shit for a better existence? Because you knew that if you didn't leave in the next 4 months, you'd never leave. I'm telling you, brothers, that you don't have much time. They're going to start building a grid around this country. Only certain people can leave, certain people can come. And the ones that come freely are those who are going to benefit the system solely. Your mind has already been awakened. They have no use for you now. You're more of a burden. You're more of a problem now. They'd rather just lay you under a white sheet and forget you exist. Don't let this system back you into a corner. You're wiser and stronger than that. You're better than that. You're built for things unseen by the common eye. You're built for magical miracles of existence only a black man can do. A so-called black man. One of the chosen. You are meant for things that were written. Things that this country never fathomed for you. Your own family didn't fathom for you. I want you to make an assessment of everything you have. Outside of your paperwork and important documents, you should have at least something, at least some type of organized, set group of things that you can throw in a bag and hop on a plane if need be, with passport in hand. Do you have that emergency fund, just in case you need to buy a ticket to St. Elsewhere? Do you have that money set aside? Do you have around $3 to $5 grand in emergency funds that you can take and make a move when it's time to escape the harlot's abyss, the abyss that she's created for you to drown in, soul-stealing abyss? The deeper you go, the less light you will be able to see. It's your choice. Look at it this way. If you really took an analysis of your entire life, from the day when you first started to encounter women and deal with them in a serious capacity, could you even say that you've met any wives? That you've met any virtuous women in your life? And what I want to tell you, men, is that upon my return to Brazil, in some analysis, I don't know if there's virtuous women pretty much anywhere, but if you do seek a woman outside of the Western toxicity level, your chances overseas are a lot better if you are in your masculine frame. Because if you are not, then you will find yourself pulled back into the same abyss, or you'll find yourself being attracted to that same toxicity. I repeat, if you go to another country, you might find yourself being attracted to that same toxicity in another woman from another place. Because in Brazil, a lot of women ain't shit. And depending on what you're seeking, see, and I'm not saying ain't shit as far as she might not have a lot of money. See, money's not really a thing. That's an American concept. You understand? In another time, the concept was as long as you had yours, it didn't matter because the woman was already trained to be an assistant, a helpmeet. So it didn't matter. We the ones that think, oh yeah, she got a nice Beamer, a nice Benz. Yeah, she got a big house. But at the end of the day, that's not yours. And what's yours isn't hers, right? But you can find women that are a little more in that state of mind, but a lot of them are very liberal. A lot of women, that's what I'm saying, a lot of women in Brazil are bisexual. You know what I mean? Very sexually free. It's like it's I would say that because on analysis of the city, you have to be in your masculine frame, because a woman that you deal with there, you have to have the ability to really stomp that shit out. And I'm not saying physically, but I mean like you stomp out a cigarette. Make sure that fire is dead. You understand? You have to have strict discipline guidelines you're dealing with when you're dealing with these females anywhere. Because your freedom, your mind, your peace is more delicately, you have to delicately protect these precious hours and days and months we have left on this earth, right? And a woman can easily find her way connected or attached to that energy, that light that you give off, that light that we give off, right? Like a symbiote, like, you know, she'll slowly begin to merge with what is you, your essence, right? And you'll be able to tell that because most men, if you really think back, right, there were times when you were dealing with a woman and that symbiotic relationship would begin after a while, right? And she would begin to become like you. She'll begin to reflect your energy without you having to say certain things and do certain things. It was almost like an unspoken connection where she would begin to talk like you, use your mannerisms, words. You know, she'd become like an extension of your personality, in a sense, just the feminine version. That process is always going to happen. But when you're dealing with these abysmal, abyss-dwelling souls, is that when they do attach, you're becoming an extension of her darkness. You're becoming an extension of her brokenness. As well as because the light that you're giving her, it's not affecting her in the way it should because her file has already been corrupted. But your file is still pure. So what she's going to do is start to infect your mainframe. She's going to affect your matrix. And then you're going to find yourself being an offset of her dysfunction, her emotional turmoil, her spiritual bankrupt position, so to speak. And you have to be careful to protect that because that can be any woman from anywhere. You have to protect that light. You know? Just like, Optimus Prime would protect his Energon cube, you know? The all spark. Look at it like that. Think of it like that for all my 80s babies and all my Transformers fans. You have to protect your light like Transformers and Optimus Prime protected the all spark. You understand? The giver of life to their kind. But you have to think of it that way. The all spark, the Energon cube, you take it out of the transformer and it dies, right? The all spark is what gives the prime the powers like Optimus. So you have to always consider that you will always be sought after for that light, that power, that shine. She's a vessel. She's an empty vessel without the input of a man's essence, right? That's why they dwell in their solipsism and narcissism. They stare in the mirror all day. They focus on themselves. That's an empty vessel you're looking at. A woman who mindlessly do thousands of busted challenges because she feels like the internet is her home. That is her sanctuary because the internet is synthetic. It's not real, right? She's an empty vessel. She needs to be constantly filled up, validated, because she's empty. All these women staring into the screens of their phones, taking selfies every day, waking up thinking of a new way to take a new photo to post on Instagram, a new way to be seen on the internet. Understand that is a sickness. That means that woman is a vessel with no light, no essence, soulless almost. Not almost, actually. We sit there and look on the internet and you're constantly seeing empty souls pretending to be living, but really just drifting and floating around in the emptiness, an abyss. But the abyss is littered with lights and jewelry and brand name clothing and makeup and fancy cars and apartments. You know, it's still an abyss. Because this place that they're propagating is absent of the Most High. It's no God, it's no righteousness in it. You have to look at it from that perspective. There's no righteousness in it. There's no presence of the Most High there. No matter how glamorous they try to show it, it's not of God. So that in and of itself is an abyss. That is the world that they have created to seem real, even though it is not. So you have to always consider that factor when you're looking out and you're wondering about your next play, your next steps. You have to be very cognizant and understand that when you're navigating these abysses, you have to be careful not to confuse it as luxury, as success, because these people are soulless. There's nothing righteous coming out of that. Just remember, no matter how it looks, how luxurious it may seem, it's still an abyss, right? The drug dealer who pushes the fancy car, has the fancy apartment, he's in an abyss. The girl on OnlyFans who makes such and such amount of money a month and drives a Bentley truck and has a nice condo in Miami or wherever she's doing her videos, basically being a freelance porn star, right? She's still dwelling in a soulless abyss. No matter how many Birkin bags or diamond rings she posts on Instagram. When all this shit burns, all of that will burn as well. So don't feel bad. Don't feel any way about it. You men have a gift. You've been blessed by the Most High to be able to hear, to see, and to absorb truth. To seek truth and wisdom is the gift of life. It's the fountain of life. So, I'm going to end this message with, I want you guys to all know that as long as you're an aware man, you will always have a chance. You will always have an opportunity to escape the abyss that awaits us all. It's been there our whole lives. We just didn't know we were floating around in it until we emerged from it, and now you can't go back. Don't ever go back. Keep going as far as you can go. And don't tell everybody your moves. Remember that. Don't tell everybody what you're doing, because everybody isn't meant to walk that free path like you. You understand? Remember that. Some people are meant to stay behind. And if you bring them with you, they're only going to corrupt what you find peace with now. Remember that. It's the Thinking Man's Templar, the place where we say one red pill life far outweighs a billion blue pill lives, and where the soldiers can come in from the war, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, once again, I'm at your service. I want to thank all the past, present, and future patrons of this channel. Thank you for your continued support. I know this month has been kind of slow. I've just been getting reacclimated to being back in the Matrix. And it took me a minute to really find some concepts that I wanted to share, because it was such a shock to the system to go from living free to being on lockdown. It's almost depressing. It's almost an environment built to crush the spirit. Once they crush your spirit, they can hand you a solution, no matter how trash it is. You'll take it because it's better than the soul-crushing reality that you're dealing with. We'll see how this all plays out in the near future, but I want to hear all you brothers are getting your passports, at least taking a week, 10 days out of the matrix, just to get a glimpse of the light above the abyss, right? And then you come back with a new inspiration. That's really what the beauty of travel is, because there's an inspiration that comes with it that you can't get anywhere else. You can't get in your own neighborhood. You can't get it. Once you leave, it's like something awakens in you, and you want it. You need it. You need that light. You need that feeling. And that's the beauty of it. You need that inspiration, because I swear it will help you get on the ball, man. Get things executed and done. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. More videos to come. Get back on my weekly schedule. Sorry for the, how can I say, sorry for the wait, but more to come. Currently working on getting some visas to get up out of here, man. About to liquidate, sell my bike, get rid of some bullshit. I did an assessment of my belongings in my life, and I said, I don't need none of this shit where I'm going. Bike for sale. I don't sell my sneakers and unnecessary clothes and bullshit, and just, really dissolve my life to a duffel bag, man. Just walk the earth. Yeah, that's the plan. Peace, brothers.